mean, we're going through a process of hyper-militarization. I don't think a lot of people are seeing it for what it is. And we're witnessing a gigantic scam unfold in real time. So we'll cover that, but I mean, it all connects back. Sometimes it feels like it often connects back to Tel Aviv. Benjamin Netanyahu has been in the White House. Just in the past few hours, the White House was filled with the smell of sulfur. And Benjamin Netanyahu met with Trump. This is the third meeting this year in Washington. The last one, Netanyahu basically gave Trump his marching orders that Netanyahu was going to bomb Iran. And Trump had to go along and basically rescue him from the war he couldn't finish. Now you have to assume that he was giving him more marching orders, that he insists on bombing Iran again if it supposedly restarts its nuclear program. And Netanyahu also wants more leeway to ethnically cleanse Gaza, something Trump has already explicitly endorsed. Here's a scene from inside the White House.
So I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's awarding you for the Peace Prize, which is well deserved, and you should get it.
Thank you very much. This I didn't know. Wow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coming from you in particular, this is very meaningful. Thank you very much, Bibi.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. It's a great honor.
So,
and there's you can see Mike Huckabee, the Israeli-American reciprocal ambassador, at the end of the table next to John Ratcliffe, the Mossad stenographer, and then Pete Hegseth and Marco Rubio, Netanyahu's team, one seat to the right of Netanyahu is Ron Dermer, who played a major role in lobbying Trump to strike Iran. And so Trump has been nominated by Netanyahu for the Nobel Prize, which means we can pretty much call it a wrap on Trump getting the Nobel Peace Prize.
And all those reports that we got in recent months that, you know, some people were convinced by there being some sort of rift between Trump and Netanyahu. This just underscores again, that was a complete scam. A very smart one. It created the illusion of this, tension between Trump and Netanyahu, all while these two were working hand in glove to lay the groundwork for bombing Iran and continuing with Netanyahu's ethnic cleansing final solution in Gaza. And that's what they also discussed at the White House is, Trump's plans for, and Trump and Netanyahu's plans for what Netanyahu called free choice, where basically Palestinians will have the free choice to leave Gaza. He says they can stay, and they can stay to what? Like a completely destroyed society that can't function, which is the Israeli goal, or they can leave. And it can leave where? Not to their homes inside what is now Israel that were stolen from them, but to other places, which I imagine Trump and Netanyahu are working on now, still trying to bribe enough countries to take the Palestinians of Gaza.
Yeah, that's one of the agenda points is voluntary migration, and it's voluntary in an alternate reality where you have a choice between living in an apocalyptic hellscape where now baby formula is being banned. Baby formula is not being allowed into Gaza, according to just a whole raft of reports. Because why? Well, ever since 1967, every single Israeli prime minister has referred to Palestinian babies, and particularly Palestinian refugee babies, Gaza's 85% refugee, as demographic threats. So they're eliminating the demographic threat. This is about ethno-supremacy, and Donald Trump and Netanyahu are conspiring to advance ethno-supremacist plans, which we'll talk about a little later on. But the nomination for the Nobel Prize is particularly rich, given that this is what Netanyahu and the Israeli army were doing almost at the precise moment when Netanyahu was informing Trump that he was nominating him for the Nobel Prize. They had bombed a school that was a shelter in Borej, which is a refugee camp near Gaza City. And people are being carried out. This is a Holocaust. This is the Gaza Holocaust, and it continues. It's been getting worse and worse for the past 2 weeks. And meanwhile, Donald Trump is reveling in the adulation of Netanyahu because he bombed Iran and rescued Netanyahu from the consequences of the war he started. So it just feels like we live in an alternative reality. And honestly, who can take any of it seriously except for the MAGA cult, which is feeling the scales lift from its eyes day after day as all the hilarious promises they were granted of exposing the deep state are coming to basically a dead end. What
on that front, it's not even worth getting into because it's so played up enough. But they just had a Russiagate report from the CIA.
Oh yeah, I wanted you to address this.
Well, it's not. It's. I think, but like everyone in the Grayzone audience knows Russiagate was a scam. We've done the details a million times. But the point is, even Trump's CIA is covering up for CIA fraud and Russiagate. That's the takeaway from their recent report for accountability for the deep state. Yeah, they went after John Brennan, who was the former director. They faulted him, but they're still covering up for the fundamental fraud of accusing Russia of waging a sweeping interference campaign to brainwash Americans into voting for Trump and not Hillary. Even the CIA under Trump is still covering up for that, which speaks to, as you know, what a scam MAGA has been in terms of the promises to Trump's base.
Yeah. So the CIA of Ratcliffe is not exactly exposing the CIA of Clapper and Brennan. And I was actually told this may have been reported, but the word is that Ratcliffe has been meeting with Clapper and Brennan. Has had meetings with them, kind of helping him learn on the job. I did hear from a Trump source that, the agency is giving Ratcliffe the attaboy and making him feel really important. And they basically control him when the Mossad isn't controlling him. So I'm glad you brought that up. And this isn't just about Trump. Netanyahu's trip to the United States takes place as an international criminal court warrant for his prosecution is out. The U.S. has placed the International Criminal Court and its prosecutor, Karim Khan, under sanctions, stripped him of his visa, stripped his staff of visas, doing everything they can to make it impossible for them to work, neutering the International Criminal Court, demonstrating that it's not really international after all. And the Europeans are playing along. They allowed, as Ali Abunimah points out, Netanyahu to fly directly over their territory instead of arresting him. Emmanuel Macron's France, Giorgio Meloni's Italy, and the prime minister of Greece provided safe passage to international crimes against humanity fugitive Netanyahu through their airspace, more direct complicity with genocide. I mean, look at the flight map. It goes right over Rome. It goes right over Rome, which is where the Rome Statute was signed. The Rome Statute was supposed to prevent everything we see taking place in Gaza. And Rome has fallen.